to another episode of Public Opinion with your hosts, Pam and Benetta. This is our very special Millennial edition. So, of course, we have our special guest host, Taylor Morton. Hi, Taylor. Hey, Taylor.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing well.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, this is the Millennial edition. It's also part 2 of our Gay Pride Month celebration. So we're going to have 2 very special Millennial guests who are going to talk about their experiences in the gay community and what they feel about being perceived and received in our community as well. And so we're going to get started in a few minutes, but how are you, Benetta?
I'm doing great, excited. This is a busy week for us, and I've been noticing so much merch out for Gay Pride Month. I mean, everything you see has a little rainbow on it, the word love. It's been far more embraced on media outlets, so I'm impressed.
Right, and that's the same thing I was thinking as well, because I said it's sort of like how it was last summer with the Black Lives Matter. It just seems like all of the companies have been sending out their emails. I have emails from Victoria's Secret, from Bed Bath and Beyond, from Old Navy, from Marshalls. All of them are saying, we stand with the LGBTQ community, and we support Gay Pride Month. So I think they're trying. They're trying, whether it's for
financial gains or not. But I want you to say you have a conscience, because what they are saying by making that statement is, if you are just so bigoted and small-minded, you may not want to shop here.
Right, exactly. So I'm excited to hear from our participants and see what they have to say about everything. So let's welcome our participants. The first participant that we have is Rudy. Rudy is an author and screenwriter. Rudy is a graduate of The Ohio State University, where he received a BA degree in English. Rudy's first book, Fade In, Fade Out, Volume 1, is available on Amazon right now. He'll be moving to LA in July to start his screenwriting journey. Next, we have Kyle Kidd. Kyle is an artist and educator. Kyle creates Black art, pulling from the many different avenues of Black music and culture, vocally fusing classical, jazz, blues, gospel, funk, and soul. They are currently performing throughout the country with artists such as Mourning a Black Star, Algiers, and Richard Kennedy. Kyle also works as an educator in the Youth Sing Out program, collaborating with Roots of American Music, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and the Maltz Museum of Jewish Heritage. So let's welcome our participants. Okay, so welcome. We have Rudy here in our studio on the couch that I have now dubbed the Couch of Wisdom. And then we also have Kyle here with us. And hi, Kyle, and thank you so much for agreeing to be a participant. And as always, we have our special Millennial guest host, Taylor Morton. So thank you all so very much. And like I said before, this is part 2 of the Gay Pride show. This is our Millennial edition. And I thought it was very important. And I also had some other people who told me they would like to hear from the perspective of younger people who are also in the gay community. So I'm so very happy again that you and Kyle have agreed to be on the show. So let's get started and see what the question is for this week. How do you want to be received and perceived by the straight community? Okay, so we're going to get started. And Kyle, I want to give you a couple of minutes to answer that question. Go ahead.
Thank you, first and foremost, for having me on the show. I greatly appreciate it, especially growing up in community with you all and your children. This is very important to bring it back home. The way that I want to be received and perceived is just as I am, at face value, for who I am as a person. My identities are my identities, but I'm Kyle first. And so I don't feel like, I don't just want to be received. And people are going to make their perceptions about who they think I am. That has been my lived experience forever. And I have totally transcended beyond that. Because I have no control over how people will perceive me. I only have control over how I show up and what my character is, and keeping my word to the things that I'm passionate about and my life's work. I know Mrs. Perry from in a very intimate ways of, our families being very close together. I used to watch her kids, and so she's someone who received me at a very early age and can speak to my character. And that's really what I care about, the people that I have intimate relationships with. Because like I said, we are living within many falsehoods about who queer people are, and many truths about who queer people are. And I can't put my focus on the battle of what's false and what's true. I can only be true to myself and show up as that and be a true representation, because we know representation is important. That's where my focus and my energy is being a true representation of what the possibilities are, the endless possibilities. I would say I more so care about being received and perceived by people who will come after me. My focus is on tribal legacy, and creating space for younger queer identifying, and queer as an umbrella. So meaning lesbian, gay, transgender, non-binary, asexual, all the things that fall under the umbrella. I care about them. And straight people, I'm no different from them. I work, I have passions. I have a mother and a father. Like there is no different. So I would just ask that they don't receive me any different way or perceive anything about me. And that's it.
Oh, that was a wonderful. I mean, we probably could end the show now, with the exception that we're going to hear from Ruth. But that was, I loved, absolutely loved every single thing that you just said. So now we're going to just give Rudy an opportunity, a couple of minutes to also answer that. And then we're going to come back and have a discussion. Did you like that also, Taylor?
I did. Wait, it's not my turn to give my.
That's okay, but we're going to hear from Rudy.
Okay.
I really don't care how straight people perceive or receive me. It is not my business how they're feeling about me, because I live my life, I live my life like they're living their life. It's like we all have the same, I guess I have different aspirations, but we all want to do stuff with our lives. So for you to be concerned with my sexuality and what I do when I'm by myself, then you have a problem within yourself, because I'm fine. Like, I'm happy. Like, you're not. A lot of people try to push their things onto you. And what is that? That's projection. A lot of people try to project their feelings onto you, so they're scared to be themselves. I'm not scared to be myself. I am 100% me all the time, and I'm unapologetic about it, because I can only be who I am. I can't be anybody else. I don't want to be anybody else. But I think it's more so people see me being me, and they feel some type of way because they feel like they can't be themselves. So me personally, I try to live to be an inspiration to people, to be, you can be whoever you want to be. You can do whatever you want to do. And if someone has a problem with it, that's their problem. That's not your problem, because they have a problem with how you're living your life, because they're miserable in their life. So you shouldn't let their misery invade your stuff, invade your space, because misery keeps company. And I don't want any of that around me. Only positive vibes all the time. Live your life, live your truth. That's the biggest thing, living your truth, because everyone is lying about who they are and they're miserable. I do not lie about who I am. I am, I guess I am gay, homosexual, but it's all the same. I'm still a man first. I'm still a Black man first. Mm-hmm. So it's people don't necessarily see me and think gay, but that's who I am. That's just not. A lot of people see gay differently because of what you see on the media, but.
Oh my goodness. Now, I don't know, both of you all were excellent.
What's
Both of
really
you.
true is you're very comfortable in your own skin,
Yes.
and that's important.
That's a
Oh,
big
and
thing.
that's what I think is so important is that, you know, both of you seem to know who you are. It's not even seem, I know that you all know who you are.
Right.
And then Taylor, though, has been friends with Rudy for a long time, and she has several gay friends. And so you know, she has more than 2 gay friends. But in answer to their questions, Taylor, what would you say as a person who is a straight person, of how you have received them and or perceived your friends?
Well, I think the question in general, like we should be asking, like, why are we worried about how who's receiving, or like, why do we even care who thinks anything of us? I'm not like, because think about straight people. Are we going around, are people asking gay people, like, you know, the same question? You know what I'm saying? It's just like, why do we care how anybody wants to perceive? I think that's the issue with everybody, is like, we're so caught up in other people's perceptions and what people think of you, but who really cares at the end of the day? So I could even see how that question could even be a little bit of frustrating for people in the gay community, because it's like, what do you mean? How do I want to be? I want to be received like a regular person. And I think if people just treated people as equal, we like, I mean, just like race issues, it's just like, why are we treating people differently because of minor differences? It just doesn't make sense to me. So I think I think the straight community needs to do a better job at like alienating gay people and being like, oh, how should we do this to them? How should we do that? Like, they're people. Treat them like you would treat your gay friend or your straight friend, like you know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know. I just think the question itself is like, why are we so worried about how other people want to be received?
Yes. I don't even think that they are. And you and Kyle or Rudy, you tell me this. Do you really? And I know in your responses you said you don't care, but I guess as far as perceived, now Kyle, I want you to answer this. I know that you stated that your name is Kyle Kidd, all pronouns. So you want to just explain what does that mean to anybody that may not understand that?
So when I say all pronouns, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
That would be me. I don't know what that means. So help me with that.
When I say all pronouns, so normally within a binary world, the binary world we live in, you normally get male, female, she, her. And so when I say all pronouns, I'm speaking of all pronouns that we can use to describe a person. They, them, she, her, he, him, his. I don't get caught up in that. You know, my parents blessed me and bestowed upon me a sacred name, and that is Kyle Kidd. And so I want you to know Kyle Kidd. Everything else is just placed as a label for comfortability. When people walk into a room and say, what are your pronouns? They're asking for their comfortability, you know, so that they can kind of start with that perceiving and trying to figure out how they want to receive me. But if you just know that my name is Kyle, that should be good enough. Get to know my name. You know, there's a lot of weight within my name as well. I am a sum total of all of my experiences, of my ancestral experiences as well. And so, you know, get to know my name. I had a vocal coach at one point, and she always would refer to me as Kyle Kidd. Everything she would say is Kyle Kidd, wrong note. Kyle Kidd, do this. Kyle Kidd, that. And I asked her one day, I said, why do you say my full name? She said, because your name holds power. And she said, I see where you're going. And you should always ask people first to know your name before they ask anything else. So I have transcended beyond the binary of using pronouns, and just call me Kyle Kidd. And hey, if we're somewhere and you slip up and say she, her, I've been places with my mother and they're like, hey ladies, and my mother will look at me like, oh my God. And I'm like, it doesn't hold weight. It doesn't hold weight. It doesn't hold weight at all. It doesn't matter. So, and now she's like, oh, okay, yes, pronouns, da, da, da. So I think it's me trying to push the bounds and erase the barriers of us living in this binary space, which the binary just creates limits. We are spiritual beings before we're human beings. So we have the power to transcend beyond all bounds. So why would I stand in a space where I'm just limiting myself? So I receive all pronouns, she, her, him, they, them, all of them.
And now, Rudy, what about you? Now, you don't, you don't specify. Do you use pronoun, in parentheses?
I don't
or
even get
anything?
into any of that.
Yeah.
Like my biggest thing is like being in a gay relationship, we're both men. So a lot of the gender norms go out of the window. Like you're gonna be doing stuff that a girl would do in a heterosexual relationship, and sometimes I'll be doing stuff that a girl would do in a heterosexual relationship. But because we're both men, you can't be like, oh, I'm not doing that. Like girls do that, but you're gonna have to do something, like because you have to meet in the middle. Like you can't just say you're not gonna do something because you're not a girl. Like I'm not a girl either. Like girls should be in the kitchen cooking, all that, blah blah blah. We're both gonna be in here cooking. We're both gonna be
Yeah.
taking out the trash.
But in
we're
that
both gonna be
respect,
cleaning up.
that's very cool with me. Okay. That's just good. You're not trying to be like, was it like a macho type of or
Yeah,
anything?
like I
Or
guess
be
it's like
social
hyper
norm.
masculine. Like a lot of gay people can be hyper masculine as well. Like they some gay people, like there's top and bottom, right? So a top would be like, oh, I'm the man of the relationship, I'm not gonna do XYZ. But it's like you're with another man, so you have to do certain things that a heterosexual man will not do because you are homosexual, right? But there's also like DL people, well, they have internalized homophobia. Like,
Now, are you saying
Down low.
Oh, DLP. Okay,
Yes,
down
yes,
low.
down low.
Yes.
So, like,
Mhm.
they really don't like that they're gay, but they are gay. They can't help it because a lot of
Mhm.
people confuse this. They think being gay is a choice. They think we just woke up one day and said, "Oh, I'm going to be gay today." It's not like that. It doesn't work like that. Because if that were the case, I'm not sure who would want to choose to be different than everyone. Like to be looked at as, "Oh, that's the gay boy over there,"
Yeah.
If I can throw in, if I can add on to what Rudy said, I appreciate you saying that. You know, it's not something that, like, people say, I wouldn't just choose to wake up gay, and that's a lot of people's experiences. But I'm going to be honest with you, the life that I live, I wouldn't change it for anything, So I think that,
you all love yourselves, and that's what everybody should have, whether you're gay, straight, or whatever you are.
But Kyle,
Self-love
wasn't this
is
a
important.
process for you? You didn't wake up with this confidence. You didn't know that I would be Kyle Kidd.
my mother and father, they pushed me and pushed me and pushed me like, look, you're gonna live this life, so you better get it together and make sure, so I've had family support, I've had chosen family support. So I didn't just wake up with this confidence and being able to identify, and my identities change every day as I learn more about myself. And how I choose to present myself. But you're right. I didn't just wake up, being able to say like, oh, I'm Kyle Kidd and da 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 da. But it was instilled in me. And I think, what we had talked about, Mrs. Morton earlier, kind of just like family and, community and what that looks like. I have a very, specific story of family and community support that is, I'm privileged to say that a lot of my friends and, chosen family don't have that story. So that's something that I think, it should be brought to the forefront as well when we're having these conversations of, I'm speaking from a position of privilege, as a place of protection, a place to go and always call home, where, the work that I do working with youth and young adults, that's not always the case.
Yes. That's right. That's not always the case. And like you said, you are privileged in that. Just like in anything, there are some people who have privileges, and there are some people who have grown up without the same privileges.
Right.
And it's a way of finding how you're going to navigate through life, regardless of what your situation is. If it came from a place of support, you continue on with that. You continue to ride that way. If it wasn't as much support, then you find a way. And I love that term that you use, chosen family.
Yes, I really like
I love that. And that goes beyond, so that goes almost beyond friendship. Like if I had to say, Vanetta I'm going to start calling you my chosen family. No, because and Taylor, wouldn't you say
beautiful.
that's what you have chosen family? They're all the way out there in LA, don't you? People who become your family that you have chosen.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, now, Kyle, let me ask you a question, and you, Rudy. By you guys being in performing arts, do you think that also helps you have that inner strength, because you can get up in front of an audience, that you can present Kyle kid this way today, and then Rudy somebody another way tomorrow.
Yeah, Rudy is an author and screenwriter. He's gonna be a screenwriter also.
And aren't you a senior?
No, he doesn't.
Oh, I was
God,
gonna
no.
have you sing.
Y'all will have to use all your followers.
But I mean, that talent, do you think that gives you
My homosexuality or my confidence?
you're confident?
I guess I've had my confidence since a young age. You know, a lot of people are haters. So you gotta love yourself and you gotta boost yourself up. You gotta be your own number one fan.
Okay.
And a lot of people see it as like, what is the word? Conceited. And it's not
Arrogant.
that.
It's a
Yeah,
self-confidence.
arrogant, like you got a big ego, but it's like I love myself and I know what I can do. I know what I'm capable of. So just because you are below me does not mean you should be hating on me, because I'm out here trying to elevate.
All right.
Okay.
And that's true. It's like, why get caught up into worrying about other people? And the people who worry about you, like you said, are either they're haters or they don't even know themselves well enough to be, because maybe those people are feeling some type of intimidation or just lack of understanding. You know, and that's why I think these types of conversations are important.
And a lot of people don't want to understand is a big thing.
Yeah.
Some people are just ignorant.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Taylor.
Oh no, you're okay. I think some people are just ignorant.
Do you
Some
think
people are just ignorant.
What'd you say, Taylor?
Oh, I said some people are just ignorant too. Sometimes it's not even like that. Oh, they might. I feel like it's all those things in addition to some people are just ignorant. Just like
It's a
racist
both
people.
and.
Some people are just
It's a
ignorant.
both and.
Yeah.
You know, me personally, I've gotten to a place where I have just chosen to extend grace because I have been blessed to have a vision of who I want to be. I have been blessed to have have grace be bestowed upon me when I didn't know about something. So, you know, and my being graceful is living my life fully out loud and doing what I love to do because, you know, like Rudy said, a lot of people are just struggling with their own inner conflicts. And what better way to support somebody than by modeling what it can look like? And, you know, just to answer your question, Mrs. Perry, about performance, for me, it's a little hard because, you know, sometimes I'm on stage and there's this big perception about who I am because of the clothes I might wear or how I go about doing, excuse me, what I'm doing during a performance. I'm a totally different person off stage, you know? And so people have these expectations of like, oh, you're this, you're so big and oh my God, and da 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 da. And I'm just like, I'm just kicking it. I'm just here. I'm just myself. And so it does get a little bit hard because you have all this confidence, but I'm zoning out. I'm totally not even present and sometimes in the space to like engage with the audience in a way. And then when I come off stage, I'm kind of like, uh-oh, like I came back. I came back from where I was. So that can be hard to balance. But again, I just continuously pray for grace and direction as I go forward in doing this and living this life because, you know, we really start learning more about ourselves and really start living when we realize our experiences are not for ourselves, but those who come after us. And that's why representation is important.
That's excellent.
Excellent.
That really,
That soul and education is impressive.
That is. You know, I do have a question though, and for either one of you that want to answer it. Now you talked to, there's what they call the LG is lesbian and gay would be what mostly men. And then there's LBGQ, T, and then the T is for the trans people, correct?
Yes.
And then the Q is queer.
Yeah,
and I
questioning.
think, or questioning. So what exactly is that? The Q?
I guess that's like you have homosexual thoughts maybe, but you might not act on it, but you're thinking about it.
That's what I would say. That's what questioning is. Queer for me is the overarching term. You know, historically, the word queer was used as a derogatory term to describe individuals who participated, encouraged, or thought about, you know, homosexual acts or acts that were kind of taboo from the binary culture that we're living in. But the queer, or the LGBTQIA plus community, there are a lot of letters, but that's because we are a full spectrum of people. So it's necessary. Reclaiming the word queer is retaking our power. Just as African Americans using the N word, we as a culture have taken back the power of using that word. And so I think there's so much power in including that in our conversation of, yes, it is okay to be queer. Yes, it is okay to use this word describing yourself and how you want to describe your community. And, you know, specifically talking about trans and non-binary individuals, they get so cast away from the center, you know, when we talk about LGBTQ, because their lived experience is totally different. So, but we all fall under the queer umbrella in some sense. So.
Okay,
Okay.
that was helpful.
That was helpful because I think sometimes people get caught up in all of those labels,
Right.
and then they want to just say, well, I just don't even know, because they don't know. They got so many, but what it is it's just a lot of different types of people.
Right.
Just like there's a lot of different types of people that are heterosexual.
Right.
I think
metrosexual.
right.
Right.
So
Well, and I think it's important to also just to say that, you know, there is power in labels, there is power in identity, there is power in names. And the more information we have, the more inclusive we can be, the more open we can be to receive people. Talking about receiving people and creating these units and communities that we want. And specifically within the African American community, it's such a taboo to identify as queer, lesbian, bisexual, but we are a full spectrum of people, just as we are all on this call, different complexions. You know, we are a sacred people, and it is important to identify with our full spectrum of who we are. And so a lot of people do get caught up in the labels and the letters, but it's like, I'm going to walk in and tell you how you are going to deal with me before you choose how you're going to deal with me, because then that's when issues come up. That's where we have miscommunication. That's where we have misunderstanding. That is where conflict becomes a thing. So I'm going to walk in and I'm going to tell you every way that I identify if I feel it's important.
okay. Yes. Right. It's right. If you think that you read the room and determine what you need to do.
What can the room handle?
Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah. And that's true. Because some people, it's just a waste of time. There's no sense in you even trying to do it. But yeah, well, we're coming to the end of this time, but are there any words, last words that either one of you would like to state in regard to this topic?
I would just say thank you again for having me and inviting me. Like I said, this is kind of like a homecoming type of situation, because I haven't seen either of you in so long. So, and just, I want to acknowledge the fact that there are two Black women who are hosting this conversation and opening space for it to happen, because like I said, it is a taboo within our community, and it's something that we tiptoe around a lot and don't acknowledge, and when we don't acknowledge it, we are acknowledging our people. And we're historically right now, we are in a time of uprising of people of color. And so we must identify and acknowledge all parts of our people. And so for two Black women to be hosting this, and
Taylor as guest host.
I'm sorry. Well, and you as well, Taylor, I apologize.
Yeah.
The three of you and the intergenerational conversation that's happening as well is very, very important, because this is a place that people can go for education. And that's what's needed right now more than anything, is education in order to be inclusive. And when we talk about diversity is not just color.
Correct.
Diversity is in so many different things. And so I just appreciate you all creating space for me to tell my story, and Rudy as well for being on this conversation, Taylor for you giving a perspective that is very important as well, because us gays, we go to our girlfriends to tell all the stories and all the things. So thank you for that.
Yes. And then Rudy, anything you want to say?
I just want to say, be proud of who you are, and no matter what month it is, you can do anything that you want. You are bound by nothing.
Right.
Okay.
That is so true because we have our little month, Black History Month, February, but you're right. It doesn't
We're
matter
black
what.
all year
We are
round.
Black all year round, 365, and you all are gay all year round,
Right.
365. And it's just about accepting who you are and being happy in your own skin
Yes,
and in
love
your own
yourself.
space and love yourself. And Taylor, any last words you want to say to the two of them?
I think this is a great conversation. I don't have anything to
All right, well, thank you both so much, and I certainly appreciate it. Well, that was wonderful. I
It was.
really enjoyed the both of them. I
Yeah.
really
You
did.
did a beautiful job.
Yes.
And it's so great to have the millennial edition because it gave a
Yes.
different perspective.
Yeah.
I agree. I think millennials always have different perceptions to bring to the table that really make you look at things a little bit differently. So I enjoyed it myself.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I really like how both of them were so very comfortable
Right.
in their own skin and in who they are, which is the way that most people should be.
Right.
So there's people who are heterosexual who are not comfortable with who they are. They don't even know who they are. Exactly. So I'm just very impressed with them. And I just want to encourage everyone to be inclusive and to be understanding. You don't have to agree with people's lifestyle or even be friends with people if you don't want to. But what you have to do is respect people and treat people like human beings. And I think just like our other show, that is my takeaway from all of this.
Everyone deserves that.
Yeah. So thank you so very much. If you enjoyed this segment, please like and subscribe to the channel. Please continue to watch us, and we'll see you next time for another episode of Public Opinion, because everybody's entitled to their own opinion.
Bye-bye.